Welcome back to Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. The Charlotte housing market is still blazing hot. For many, though, it's still too hot. Affordable housing, a chronic problem. This week, Charlotte City Council voting to give $23 million towards building or keeping 9 affordable housing complexes. For the first time, 2 of those new projects allow folks to buy rather than rent, which we know here in America is perhaps the biggest wealth builder there is. In total, the plan will create 879 affordable units. It's welcome news as we look at the latest real estate numbers here in the greater Charlotte metro area. Almost every metric is up year over year in good and bad ways. New listings up 1.4%, but then inventory of homes for sale down nearly 42%. It's left more people fighting over fewer homes. But with summer over and before folks hunker down for the holidays, realtors say October might be a housing market sweet spot. Joining us today here on Flashpoint, David Kennedy. He's the president of Canopy Realtor Association here in Charlotte. David, thanks for coming back on. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Ben.
All right. Last time we spoke to you was back in April. At the time, you said we were in a once-in-a-generation real estate market. Since that time, personally, I've gone through the process myself, so it's a bit more personal. Where would you say we stand now, 5-6 months later, when it comes to Charlotte's real estate market?
You know, there's never been a more difficult time to buy a house in Charlotte, yet there's never been a more important time to buy a house in Charlotte. So help is on the way to an extent in that early October is one of the more favorable times of the year for buyers to buy, because all the sellers trying to take advantage of those summer months that are crazy. If they didn't get scooped up, they're out there and they're ready to negotiate a little bit more. So don't lose heart. If you're out there looking, keep trying.
Do you expect for those folks who have been out there looking and have lost bidding wars and are frustrated and are over it, frankly, they're watching you say this on TV and they're saying, of course, he's a realtor, he's going to say this. But do you really do mean for those folks who are just over it, and we know there are people out there, we all know those people, I was close to being to that point, you do think there's a shift in the market now that makes it a little bit more desirable for folks?
Well, there's a seasonal aspect to the market. And obviously, once school starts, the things kind of, the activity diminishes to an extent. And obviously, it diminishes even more as we enter into the holidays. So you factor that in, number one. But number two, if you're a frustrated buyer, just know that because the housing prices are going so much higher and higher and higher, the monetary policy of the federal government is still trying to help you out with those low interest rates. So you still have, monetarily speaking, some favorable conditions. Your issue is just supply. So what you need to realize is something that you've probably heard before. You just have to apply it to housing. When you graduated from high school or college, your first job is probably not going to be your dream job. And if it is, it's probably the wrong dream. Your first house isn't going to be your dream house, but the important thing is to get into the realm of home ownership. So buy something, make it what you want, or buy something and hang there until you can afford to get something better.
You said to me back in April, what we need is more inventory. What we need is more affordable inventory. Do we have more inventory than, say, I know we don't have enough, but do we have more inventory than we said like back in April?
Just a bit. Just a bit. So listen, the inventory problem isn't going to be solved as quickly as everybody would like. And right now, what the Charlotte 2040 Comprehensive Plan is doing is they're focusing on Policy 2.1, which is the place types, and specifically the quadruplexes, duplexes, triplexes, and ADUs. And they're looking to see where the right type of housing can be used in the right situation. They're looking to see where these types of houses will be supported best in our market. And what they're finding is for those folks that are afraid that the introduction of multifamily housing would diminish their current home prices, the data doesn't support that. On the other hand, the introduction of all this more multifamily, it doesn't necessarily make things more affordable. All it does is introduce more housing for all the people that are coming to Charlotte and need it.
Have we peaked the housing market here in Charlotte?
I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because interest rates are probably not going to see a 4 handle until late 2022 or even 2023. So as long as the interest rates are as low as they are, people can afford to pay more because their ongoing servicing of the loan will be less based upon their record low interest rate.
So give me a prediction of what, as a person who does this as a day in, day out, what are you expecting the real estate market to look like in the short term, in the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months, and then a year from now here?
All right, the next couple of weeks, favorable for buyers. Go for it. Don't be afraid to try to negotiate, but don't be afraid to pay over asking, because again, if you pay over asking, that's just setting your basis higher so that when you ultimately sell, your capital gains taxes, the window for that will be smaller. Because of that low interest rate, you're going to be able to service the life of your loan a little bit more or less expensively, so it'll be more favorable for you. Now, the output for the rest of the years, obviously, we do have a seasonal impact. So a lot of people during Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're not out trying to buy homes. They're actually celebrating and traveling and getting together with family. So be mindful of that. There may not be that much out there. Plus, kids are back in school. So if you're looking for a large single family home, there may not be as much out there, but don't lose heart. Keep looking, and when something shows up, make sure, even if it's not perfect, try to get in there and do the best that you can. The outlook for the foreseeable future, could be different depending on what you're doing. So if you're transient in nature and you're a hot shot at wherever you work and you may have to move, you may be concerned with if you can get the same amount that you just paid for it in these current conditions. But if you pay for something in these current conditions and you like where you live and you like where you work, you're going to be doing just fine projecting in that home property growth. And even if we do level off, you'll be okay because you're not looking to sell anytime soon. It's those folks that are going to do a quick turnaround that if folks have different interest rates, higher interest rates, they may not be able to afford what you could have afforded when you bought at those record low interest rates.
And we talked about this last time, but I want to touch on it again finally. You don't think this is a bubble that's going to burst necessarily. It might not be like it is right now, but you foresee this sort of staying strong for a long time.
Right. So it's different than the recession and that housing bubble back then. You can pay, you can miss a whole year of mortgage payments. This is just grandiose. You can miss a whole year of mortgage payments, and then begin to be foreclosed upon, and then still list it on the market and make money. People will buy it. So it's not the reason we had the recession, the bubble burst, is because people were not financially qualified to buy. There was no one out there to buy. The difference is people now, there are multitudes of buyers out there, financially qualified, waiting to buy something. So you won't get in hot water. All you have to do is, if you get in hot water, is to sell it, and you'll make money off of it, or you won't lose your shirt. That's for sure.
All right, David Kennedy, once again, it's always nice having you on talking about what is certainly an exciting topic here in the Charlotte area. We'll have you back soon, all right?
Thank you, Ben. Have a great day.
All right, David, thanks. Have a good one. More Flashpoint after this.